What's up, guys? It's me, Alan. I am back with another video, and tonight we've got a lot to talk about. Now, it's almost midnight, which means it's almost October 19th. So I'm filming this video tonight. Y'all will get it in the morning or whenever I get up. But this is my crown jewel predictions video. We're gonna cover all 9 matches, along with a little bit of the lead-in to both the King of the Ring and Queen's Crown. Cover a couple of other things with some of the competitors from that, and look at a couple other things as well. A lot to talk about. So with all of that being said, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I mean, I try to post these videos around as much as I can because it's what I gotta do to, with a small ass channel like mine. So subscribing and liking the video would really help. Let me know your thoughts down below as well. Let me know your predictions, what you think's going to happen. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. So, right off the bat, we're going to look at the semifinals from King of the Ring and Queen's Crown, and to set up the finals matches, and then we're going to look match by match. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit, but we'll get to that. So, for King of the Ring, Friday night on SmackDown, Finn Bálor faced off against Sami Zayn, and Finn Bálor got the W. Now, this was a bit predictable because if you know, or if you don't know, Sami Zayn, while he was born in Canada, his parents are immigrants from Syria. Now, because Crown Jewel is in Saudi Arabia, Syria and Saudi Arabia do not get along. So, unfortunately, and while I don't think that WWE would have had Sami win and go to the finals anyway, even if they did, that's not really possible. And it's nothing, it's nothing against Sami, but it's just his ancestry and shit. And also keep in mind that that the Saudis do have say in which of these matches happen, obviously. So, yeah, there's that to keep in mind as well. And then tonight on Raw, Xavier Woods defeated Jinder Mahal to move on to the finals to face Finn Bálor. This is huge for Xavier. This is something he has said he's wanted for a long time, and I cannot wait for this. I'm hoping, we'll see the outcome that we want, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And then for Queen's Crown. Now, this tournament's been fucked up from the start, and I'll get this out of the way right now. None of the matches up to this point have gone over 3 minutes. The closest any match came was Piper versus Natalya back in round 1, which I think almost hit 3 minutes. But none of them have gone over 3 minutes. They botched it in round 1 with having Liv lose to Carmella. I've already made 2 videos on this. And, the first one being my reaction to that. And the second one being the news that came out. The report that came out, I should say, from Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful, or from the people over at Fightful Wrestling, that Liv was originally supposed to beat Carmella, and that outcome got changed. So, yeah. And then, so anyway, Liv actually ended up costing Carmella in her match against Zelina on SmackDown, putting Zelina in the finals. And then tonight, Piper defeated Shayna. Now, this is another instance where Saudi bullshit comes into play. And I hate this for Shayna because she's had this badass push as a monster heel lately. And, yeah, and it's kind of halted to a point. But basically, now, I'm going to point, I had to look at this myself. Both Piper and Shayna are bisexual. Shayna is part of the LGBTQ community. And, yeah. So, now Piper obviously got married last month. I don't know if Shayna's dating anybody or not, but the main gist of this is the fact that with Saudi Arabia and their treatment of women and this and that, sadly, unfortunately for Shayna, she just would, she's kind of fucked in that regard. Now, she did tweet out earlier that she's been to Saudi before, and that she doesn't need a tournament to tell her who she is. So, she understands, obviously, but I don't think this is going to impact her too much. Plus, it gives Piper a chance to shine, in the post Eva Marie days. But I do hate it for Shayna because she should be in the finals, honestly. But if I'm being honest here, I would have booked Queen's Crown to happen in the lead up to Survivor Series rather than in the lead up to Crown Jewel because it would have given people like Shayna a better chance and a shot to be in the finals, instead of having to deal with Saudi bullshit. But regardless, Zelina versus Piper will be that matchup in the finals. So we'll get to both of those shortly. But the first match I'm going to look at, and this is a match that I really don't know who to pick because there has been little to no build for this. Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali. They were a tag team. They no longer are. And they're going to face off in Saudi. Now, there's an interesting tweet here, and I actually did not know this. I didn't know that this was the case, but Mustafa Ali tweeted out the other day, though I wish some of the circumstances were different, I'm still thankful that for the first time ever, two Muslims will have a singles match on a WWE pay-per-view. That's huge. I'm thankful that for one night, Mansoor and I get to be what we wanted to see growing up. And he had also called out the fact that their match was not really, not really promoted back at during Smackdown on Friday night. Now, this match had been announced on Raw Talk. I'm kind of wondering if this was a sort of last-minute match thrown in that the Saudis may have wanted or whatever, especially because this breaks up a tag team. But the fact that it's the first time that two Muslims will face off against each other, at a WWE pay-per-view, that's actually really fucking cool. That they're going to get to make that history at Crown Jewel. But, like I said, I really don't know who to pick in this one. On one hand, I could see Mustafa Ali winning. On the other hand, I think Mansoor winning would be a big deal. Fuck it. Give me Mansoor on this one. I'm almost calling this a sort of an upset because I think Mustafa Ali would probably get the win, but I think Mansoor is going to I think Mansoor is going to get the upset here over Mustafa Ali and get this W. Sadly, I'm wondering if this is going to be on the pre-show. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, and I hate saying that, but yeah. Anyway. So, King of the Ring and Queen's Crown. Gonna get those out of the way now. Queen's Crown, give me... Zelina Vega is winning this thing. I would honestly be a little bit surprised if Piper wins. And it's nothing against Piper. It's just... It's hard to take her seriously with the name, even though she wants to make it, work. If Shayna was able to go, I think Shayna would have brutalized Zelina for the W. But at the same time, I think what we saw on Friday with Shayna joining forces with Sonya Deville ahead of her match against Naomi that night, I think that is going to show what Shayna's going to be doing when she moves to SmackDown. Really, I don't think her push is going to get too affected because of this loss, because we've already been, I think, shown what she's going to be doing going forward over there. But I just do not see Piper winning this thing. I fully have Zelina winning this. And then as for Bálor against Woods, I got Xavier all the way, man. Like I said before, this is something that Xavier has wanted for a long-ass time. He has wanted to compete in King of the Ring. He has wanted to win it. To be one of the lucky ones that has gotten to do that. And it would be something else, if he won, because it would be a huge deal. Biggie won Money in the Bank and then won the WWE Championship earlier this year. Kofi Kingston has won the WWE Championship before. Xavier, other than the tag titles, has not had, excuse me, my apologies. Xavier has not had a big significant win outside of the tag championships in his career yet. This could be it. And honestly, Xavier deserves it. He really does. And I'm hoping that it'll give him a run that he absolutely deserves. So give me Xavier Woods. So Xavier Woods will be your winner of King of the Ring, and Zelina Vega will be your winner of Queen's Crown. Next match I'm going to look at, Goldberg, Bobby Lashley, no holds barred match. Why? Like, I know this is a continuation from SummerSlam because Goldberg went into that match, basically got hurt by the looks of things. Ref had to stop the match. Bobby won, and then Bobby brutalized Goldberg's son. And Goldberg's saying that he wants to beat the shit out of Bobby, basically wants to, murder him, quote unquote. And because it's a no holds barred match, I feel like it could lead to a Goldberg win, especially because Saudi Arabia and their veterans. I mean, Super Showdown, Goldberg against Fiend. We all know what the fuck happened. I could very well see that same fucking scenario playing out against Bobby. And the only thing I'm glad for is that it's not for the title. Because if it was, I would be so fucking pissed. Because Goldberg does not need that fucking title. Honestly, he needs to fucking retire and focus on his son. And if his son, if his son wants to compete in the WWE, then train him. But Goldberg, you need to fucking retire. And the sad part is that he's not going to, because he's going to come back next year, do a couple of matches, and then he's going to do it again in 2023, which is, I believe, when that contract that he has ends. So as far as I'm concerned, Bobby, if you're going to, you need to take him out. And I have Bobby Lashley winning this match. Now, I guess Big E has said that he would like to retire Goldberg sometime in the future. That would be awesome. That would be really fucking awesome. Like, Goldberg put out the quote earlier this year or whatever, or he's quoted as saying that, he wants to put over younger talent, or whatever. You could have done that with the Fiend, Just saying. But if he's true to that, then he'll lose in his retirement match to Big E, if we get that. But in the here and the now, Bobby Lashley is going to kick the shit out of Goldberg, and we'll unfortunately see you again in 2022, Goldberg. Then, after that, next match I want to look at, Edge versus Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match. Finally! Hell in a Cell, for the first time in quite a while, is finally going to get used for what it deserves to be used for. This could very well be the ending to this feud, and I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But to utilize Hell in a Cell is fucking genius, and it finally gives Hell in a Cell a purpose again, because you have the pay-per-view, which has had a pair of matches in it, Fiend versus Rollins, for example, in the last couple of years that have been absolutely fucked up. And Hell in a Cell has almost lost a little bit of some of the prestige that it has. This match at Crown Jewel could give the prestige back to that fucking structure, that fucking match type. And if I'm being honest, this match could go either way. Edge won back at SummerSlam, and Seth has been going after Edge ever since. Because, he wants to prove that he's better, whatever. Seth beating Edge would be a big deal. I know it's later in Edge's career, but it would still be a big win for Seth. And if I'm being honest, I see that happening. I think Seth will win this match. And keep in mind, they both got drafted to Raw. So I don't know if the feud will continue past Crown Jewel. It could. But yeah, Seth versus Edge, Hell in a Cell. Yes, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is gonna be a big deal. But I got Seth Rollins winning this one. Then we've got RK-Bro versus AJ and Omos in a SummerSlam rematch for the Raw Tag Team titles. Give me RK-Bro. I do not see RK-Bro losing this match and dropping those titles. I think that they're gonna hold on to those titles for quite a bit. And if I'm being honest, I'm surprised that they didn't break up AJ and Omos at the draft. I think I saw something to where that was gonna happen and then it didn't. But regardless of that, it's gonna have to happen eventually, and we're gonna have to see what Omos can do as a singles guy. At the same time, I think AJ is also content with continuing this because I mean, I think, AJ's acknowledged the fact that he's probably not going to be in the WWE much longer, with, just all things considered, considering that he's been in this business for so long, and he has all the wear and tear in his body from previous, from not just being in the WWE, but from being in previous promotions. So I just don't see RK-Bro losing this. The only way that they lose this is if they want to have Orton turn on Riddle. And I just don't see that. So, for right now at least. I think sometime down the line that will happen, but not at Crown Jewel. RK-Bro is going to retain the titles. Next match to look at, Big E against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. And let's be honest, now this match is probably going to be an absolute banger. It probably will. But I got Big E winning this one. And I think it's quite obvious to see why. You're not going to have Big E drop the title this fast. Just no. You had him cash in on Bobby. You got him to win the title. Big E deserves to hold on to that title for a while. And if I'm being honest here, and again, with Drew going to SmackDown, and he's probably going to end up going after whoever wins between Roman and Brock for the Universal title. He's going to go after that. So, I just don't see Big E losing. I think Big E will win the title, or I should say retain the title, and we'll see what they decide to do in terms of feuds and stuff moving forward for him. Then we've got a triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The first ever Women's Championship match in Saudi Arabia. At least at Crown Jewel, that is. I don't know if they've done this at Super Showdown, but I don't think so. Because Saudi Arabia. But Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. Now, the thing that I'm happy about is that Charlotte Flair was not added to this match with the Raw title. But you also had a perfect opportunity for Charlotte to lose to Bianca on Raw. And you gave them 20 plus minutes of a match, a banger match at that. And then you let it be a DQ finish with Charlotte bringing out a steel chair. So, yeah, not a fan of that. However, that just makes this all the more interesting because honestly, I don't know who's gonna win this. You could say that Sasha could probably win to keep the title on SmackDown, but which would then take out the idea of a title swap between Charlotte and the winner because Charlotte's moving to SmackDown. Becky could retain and swap with Charlotte, and then Becky and Bianca's feud continues. Or, at the same time, Bianca could win and get revenge for SummerSlam, and then that feud continues after Bianca swaps titles with Charlotte. I don't know who to pick here. I really don't, because this match could go any one of three ways. Again, Becky could retain, Bianca could win, or Sasha could keep the title on SmackDown, and then they'd be kind of booked into a bit of a corner as to what they want to do with Charlotte and the Raw title. Now, that does bring the two belts angle to be a possibility with Sasha or with Charlotte, if they decide to keep the Raw title on Charlotte for the time being and have her win the SmackDown title from Sasha if she wins it at Crown Jewel. But that would almost seem kind of sleazy, I guess. Um, I'm going to go with my gut here, and I'm going to say Bianca Belair is going to win her title back, and then swap the title to Charlotte on the next edition of Raw, or on SmackDown on Friday, we'll see, because Charlotte will be there, because that's when all the switches take effect, and yeah, so I think Bianca will win. Sasha will feud with Charlotte for the SmackDown title. Becky will feud with Bianca for the Raw title. And, yeah. Excuse me. Either way, I cannot wait to see how this match is going to go. I'm really hoping that the Saudis will give them time to have a really badass championship match. Because that's the thing. I don't see Zelina versus Piper going over 3 minutes, because that's been the trend with all the other matches in Queen's Crown. But I do think the SmackDown title match will be a long one. And I've got Bianca winning it. So that will lead us to what will probably be the main event of the night. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Brock dropped a bombshell on Friday saying that, he looked over the contract with his advocate, Paul Heyman. And Heyman put out on IG that he's going to walk in and walk out with a Universal Champion, but did not specify who that will be. So he could be walking in with Reigns and walking out with Heyman, or walking out with Lesnar, or he'll walk in with Reigns and walk out with Reigns. So we'll see on that part. But this is another one where, on one hand, it feels obvious that Roman will probably win. However, I also feel like Brock could possibly win, because think about it. If they want to have Drew go for the Universal title, keep in mind, when we saw Brock versus Drew, we know what happened in the Royal Rumble. Drew eliminated Brock with the Claymore, and that was in front of fans. And then last WrestleMania, or WrestleMania back in 2020, they had their match without fans. So, honestly, I think they could run that back and have it with fans. I think that would be really neat. But I just think but at the same time, I also don't know how long Brock's going to be around, or if he's just going to go back to doing what he was doing before, and Roman continues to hold on to the title, and he basically, and then whatever. But then you have the Heyman aspect to this. Heyman, pretty much since the buildup of SummerSlam, has been a little bit shady with the bloodline. With the phone calls, and then Lesnar showing up. Roman's been getting pissed at Heyman. The Usos have been getting pissed at Heyman. There's a chance that if Roman loses, then Heyman might turn on Roman in this match. Honestly, there could be a spot where Heyman could possibly assist Roman, and instead he assists Lesnar. So I don't know if this is a bold prediction or not, but I'm going to make it. I'm going to say bold prediction. Brock Lesnar defeats Roman Reigns for the Universal title, and Paul Heyman turns on Roman. Because that's, and it's either that or Brock wins and Roman kicks Paul out, and then Paul goes with Lesnar anyway. But I think Paul Heyman will turn on Brock Lesnar, and my bad, I screwed that up. Paul Heyman will turn on Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar is going to defeat Roman Reigns for the Universal title. And then we'll see what happens after that. Maybe Roman gets it back. Maybe Drew gets it. We'll see. But it's going to, if this is what it's going to feel weird to see Roman without the title after he's held it for so long. But with that said, let me run my predictions back. Mansoor defeats Mustafa Ali. Seth Rollins defeats Edge. Zelina Vega defeats Piper for the Queen's Crown title. Xavier Woods defeats Finn Bálor for the King of the Ring title. Bobby Lashley defeats Goldberg in their no holds barred match. Edge and Seth in the Hell in a Cell match. I didn't mention that. Biggie will retain the WWE Championship over Drew McIntyre. RK-Bro will retain the tag team titles over AJ and Omos. Bianca Belair will win the SmackDown Women's Championship and then trade it with Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship after Crown Jewel. And Brock Lesnar will defeat Roman Reigns for the Universal title with Paul Heyman turning on Roman. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see y'all next video. Peace.